minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1. Outside the Earth vessel, there was an alien race. Of what shape? Of what quality? Of what psychology?
Identify yourself now. I am.
Spirits of the dead are watching, turning her back at the dolphin jetting, kill my kaleidoscope visions.
Yes, it is First Contact here on 2SER. My name is Angus, and I'm your captain this evening, guiding us through the intergalactic world that is New Music Friday, where we reach out our hands into the galaxy and we find with our fingertips the music that has just been released into the universe, that has been shot out, spinning around, spinning around the stars, spinning around the planets, and eventually forming into one galactic being, which comes down and presents itself to us. And always, every week, we greet that galactic being with a warm hug, an offer of maybe a cup of tea, and it says to us, "My name is..."
Spirits of the dead are watching, turning her back at the dolphin jetting, kill Led McCallan and kaleidoscope vision. Speak words.
Which is, every week is just such a beautiful name. And if you're new to First Contact, then you wouldn't know that name is a combination of all the albums we're going to be listening to this week. And we've got quite an awesome week of new music today. We have a massive eclectic mix of a bit of experimental improvised jazz from both here in Sydney and on the other side of the planet in London. And we've got some avant-garde post-punk rock. We've got some even more avant-garde pop folk. And yeah, we've just got some simple stripped-back folk today. Yeah, from all over the planet. We've got a bit of America, a bit of the UK, and a bit of Melbourne, and of course we've got a bit of Sydney, which is where I'm coming from today, and where I assume you're listening to as well, out there in the great land of Sydney. Speaking of Sydney, the first band we're going to listen to is a Sydney band. And speaking of the great land of Sydney, they have really integrated themselves into this beautiful sweeping city. Individually and as a band, they're a sort of, I would say, a bit of a what's the word for a band that, like, those bands that sort of are big combinations of like big names like David Bowie and whatnot. A super band or whatever. They're a super band of the jazz names of Sydney. We've got Novak Milinovic, who is the head of SEMA, which is a Sydney Improvised Music Association, and he is just a absolute whiz, a legend on the keys. If you ever see him tickling the ivory around Sydney, then you know you're in for a treat. And then, as well as him, it's a quartet. I should say the name of the band. The band is called Believe. And they're made up of Novak. They're made up of Peter. I wrote this down. My handwriting is terrible. Peter, who's on the sax, Clayton Thomas on the double bass, and Lawrence Pike on the drums. And yeah, if you're new to the jazz scene in Sydney, then you won't know those names. But if you're not new, then I would say you know at least one of those, because these people, they're playing in everything, anything they can get their hands on in terms of jazz. because they're just perfect at improvising. They're really, really amazing improvisers, and they came together and they formed this supergroup, is what the word is, called Believe. Now, I was really lucky today. I I was supposed to sit down with Novak and talk about this album, but I woke up this morning and I was sure that I wouldn't be able to do this show. Honestly, I was just so run down. Had a massive week, and I just woke up and I was like, I can't even get out of bed. I'm so sick. And I texted Novak, and he was so generous. He said, well, maybe instead of us doing an interview, you can just send the questions to me and I'll just record a voice memo introducing the album, which is what I did. I wrote a few very basic questions, and then he sent over a really, really lovely message. So yeah, we're going to listen to that message right now, and then we're going to jump into the first 3 tracks of this new Believe record, which is, if we listen closely to the name, the first little part of our alien's name. Let's listen to it now.
Spirits after dead are watching turning her back into dolphin jetting kill lead McKellen Jelly and Kaleidoscope Vision speak words.
So if you missed it, then the first little part of that name is Spirits of the Dead Are Watching, which is the title of this new album. Anyway, let's get into this little voice memo from Novak Milinovic, the pianist of Believe, and then we'll listen to the album. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Hey, this is Novak Manojlovic from the band Believe, celebrating the release of our debut record, Spirits of the Dead Are Watching. The band came together about 3 years ago, I would say, off the back of Lawrence Pike, our drummer's general enthusiasm and productivity and faith in making good things happen. He and I had been talking about music a lot, and we were sort of fans of what each other were doing. He invited me over just to play some music a few times with a few different people. One of those times was with Clayton Thomas, who is the bass player in the band. And we played as a trio, and immediately it felt really special and energetic and sympathetic. You know, like something that had legs or that could turn into something pretty special. And we invited Peter Farrer, who was a mutual friend of ours and a superstar of the Australian improvising music scene. We invited him to come around and join us, and pretty immediately we knew that something was on. This record was recorded at Golden Retriever Studios in Sydney over a couple of days in 2023, mid-2023. We basically wanted to stay really true to what we'd been doing live and try and capture that energy in a studio context. We'd been playing live a lot. We'd been making a point of playing at least every month, which for a improvising free jazz avant-garde band in this city is it's no mean feat. So when we got into the studio, the idea was to have 2 days and just to play and to feel as comfortable as possible and to feel like we could capture what we were about. We played for 2 days in the studio, kind of trying lots of different approaches. You know, first of all, we just sort of played as we would, sort of not really thinking about different things like durational things or structural things, just trying to feel the music out. And then we started to give ourselves different signposts, ways to approach the music, things we were trying to do, even like sonic things or aesthetic decisions that we were trying to pursue. We just wanted to really have a smorgasbord of stuff that we could then draw on in terms of constructing a record. After we had all of the material, Lawrence sort of got in there with the scissors and did some cutting and did some sort of assembling of things and came out the other side with this record, which is, I think, a really great demonstration of what this band does and what this band is about. This first piece on the record, Believer, is sort of, in a way, I guess you could say classic Believe, really sort of inspired by those high-energy sort of free jazz ensembles of the 60s and early 70s, and trying to think in what terms of waves of energy and broad gestures rather than sort of specific melodies and things like that. We're kind of trying to cultivate energy and sort of build to something in a way that feels really organic and inspired. This is Believer. This next track, Spirits of the Dead Are Watching, sounds to me like it was an example of one of these pieces that had a structural impetus, or that had something that we talked about beforehand. I think we talked about deliberately sort of having something that was a little bit more percussion focused. On this track, we're all playing percussion. A lot of these tracks, just by nature of how the record was put together, it's kind of blurry as to how they emerged, you know. So listening to it back, I kind of become an audience member in a way as well, which is a really exciting thing to be a part of. This is Spirits of the Dead Are Watching. This last track, Already Not Yet, is sort of the longer form piece on the record, which is another thing that we like to explore in a live context. Usually when we play live, there are exceptions to this rule, but usually when we play live, we play one long 40, 45, 50-minute piece of music per set. This is kind of leaning into that territory. It also sounds to me like a lot of the music is sort of pushed by what Clayton Thomas ends up doing on the bass here, which is playing this sort of drummy, sort of percussive figure, which is something that we all kind of jump on and build this pointillistic, percussive figure around. This is Already Not Yet.
Believe. That's the new album from Believe. I almost shocked myself there with that. This is just coming out of that trance that I've been in for the last 40 minutes, listening to the entire new album from Believe. First we heard the track Believer, then Spirits of the Dead Are Watching, and after that, Already Not Yet. This is First Contact. My name's Angus. Every Friday we snap up all the music that's just been released into the world and I play it for you. And I play the first 3 tracks off the albums, which it has it has its positives and it has its surprises. Not negatives, but surprises. Usually I'm like, it's probably like a 5 maximum 10-minute track that they'll play, that they'll have for the first 3. And so I'll be able to easily fit in like 6 albums. And then you hit with the first 3 tracks, first being the entire album of this new album, Spirits of the Dead Are Watching by Believe. And then one of them going for 25 minutes. So we're nearly halfway through the show and we've ticked off 1 album, which is, it's going well. I'm not disappointed. That's one thing to say. That was extraordinarily good music. All improvised by the Believers just there. We had Novak Milinovic on the keys, and we had Peter Farah on the sax, Clayton Thomas on the double bass, and Lawrence Pike on the drums. And if you can believe it, they were all doing that improvised. That I think most, if not all of that, was improvised. They just got into a studio and they just played. And Novak, he actually told me that that's just the first outing of the Believers, that one session that they did where they just improvised. And then I think he said it was Clayton Thomas went in and he's cut it up and created this. No dubs, nothing. It's just how it was recorded on the day. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Hectic. So hectic at times. Like that first track, Believer, it was quite a shock. But like this storm of sound, which was just followed by that beautiful second track, Spirits of the Dead Are Watching, which they definitely took a step back, and it's almost like the instruments became animals sort of prowling through a forest every now and then appearing, and this is constant like sort of almost tribal sort of rhythm to it. And then of course just there already not yet, what we just listened to then, which just put me into a state of calm and tiredness. I will admit, on this Friday morning at nearly 1 a.m, that sort of music is not what you want to listen to when you're trying to stay awake. But I was enjoying it. Anyway, moving away from the world of improvised jazz, we're going to go into something a bit more, I mean, it's no less experimental, I'd say, but it is a lot more composed. She's a musician by the name of Cate Le Bon. You might have heard of her. She's been around for a long time. This is her 7th album, full-length album that she's put out. I think her first album came out in 2012. So she's no new player in this game. She's Welsh, and she's known for her experimental, sort of enchanting music, which sort of walks this tentative line between beautiful and haunting, like comfort and unease. It's really, you can't put your finger on really what you're feeling or what she's trying to make you feel with the music. Most so is this feeling in her last two critically acclaimed albums, where she sort of took, especially in the last album which she recorded during COVID, she took a lot more control over the recording process and the production and everything, and meant that she had even more freedom to experiment with putting horns, guitar, anything through pedals, then layering her vocals, looping them, doing like all these crazy things. Increasing experimentation with how she presented her music. And I think from what I've read, she's only further delving into this world with this new record, which is called Michelangelo Dying. She describes this new album as an attempt to photograph a wound before it closes up, which, in doing so, picks at it too. So, as I said before, don't really know if that is beautiful or haunting, the idea of a wound being photographed before it closes up. I mean, metaphorically, it's quite beautiful. It's like this idea of like you've been hurt, and maybe your heart's been broken, and it's capturing this moment before you heal. And it's like this sadness, but then also the image of she throws in at the end that the idea of picking at that wound, and you just immediately the images. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for those images. Maybe they'll come to your mind when you're listening to this new record by Kate Le Bon. Michelangelo Dying. First, we've got Jerome. Then after that, we've got Love Unrehearsed. And after that, Mothers of Riches. These tracks, I promise, are not 25 minutes long. So I'll play these and then I'll be back in a relatively short amount of time to talk about them. So here we go. Kicking off is Jerome.
Sooner or later, I'm gonna replicate her ways. Can you set her on fire and calm down the world with me, babe? I'm off the hook and I'm on the plate. A surplus of you, Michelangelo dying.
Yes, yes. Massive, massive fan of those 3 tracks just then. From Kate LeBlanc's new album, Michelangelo Dying. First we heard Jerome, then we heard Love Unrehearsed, then after that, Mothers of Riches. And that was so funky, like so much energy in that music. But at the same time, like, you know what, I was talking before those 3 tracks heard. I played those three tracks, and I was saying that Kate LeBon's music, it's like it's always straddling these lines of you don't really know if is it soothing or is it funky? Is it sort of eerie or is it soothing? I don't know. It's always it's a conundrum, but a really, really pleasant, really pleasant conundrum. Yeah, those sweeping sounds of the guitars, the effects on all the instruments in there, the rhythm. It's just I was just sitting here, just sort of dancing to that music. Yeah, very, very excited to hear the rest of that record. There's 10 tracks, and so yeah, I'm sure she dives deep into that sound later in the album. But yeah, well worth a listen. Michelangelo Dying by Kate LeBon. Highly recommend. We're going to take another left turn now. Going across that we were in, well, I think Kate LeBon lives in America now, but she's originally from Wales. We're going to jump over into the beaten heart of America, into New York City. And if you don't know this band, then I think they're rising. They're definitely rising. With great thanks, I think, to the immense success of the lead singer's recent solo album. Of course, I'm talking about the band Geese, and the lead artist, of course, Cameron Winter, who has taken the world by storm with his solo album this year. Many, I think, probably predicting it to be the best within the top 10 albums of the year. It's been completely embraced by all indie rock, folk. I don't really know what to call the genre, and I think that's what's so captivating about it. That album, he sort of warbles over these soft piano tones. Yeah, very, very interesting music, that new Cameron Winter album. And I think the most interesting aspect of it is how much it deviates from Geese, which is the band that has just released a new album today. Geese's music before, it was good. It was definitely good. But there was something sort of like artistically missing. I tried to listen to it many times, and I was like, there's something I like this, but there's something sort of missing from it. And then when Cameron Winter put out that album, I was like, well, why doesn't he just do this with Geese? This extraordinary, like, long, elaborate, sort of wailing tales or monologues, even these tracks he put on that new album of his. And so I think there's been a lot of interest about how he's going to take that sound that he honed on that solo record, and will he take it to Geese? Will this new Geese record be a big step in a different direction for the band, or are they going to stick with the sound which they were becoming quite known for, but I think also potentially they weren't gaining much traction with. So it's very interesting to see. I'm intrigued, and excited to hear this new album. It's called Getting Killed. The first 3 tracks are called Trinidad, Cobra, and Husbands. I haven't listened to any of these tracks yet, so as is custom on First Contact, which you're listening to right now, I'm sorry, I always think 12 till 2, I sit here at the 2SCR studios and I play the music that has just come out in the world, all over the world. It's been shot out into the universe, shot out into the galaxy. Then I get in my little music collecting spaceship and I go out there and I collect it all and then sort of put it into this nice little juice, which I inject into the speakers, and then that somehow seeps out through the airwaves, through your speakers. Yeah, actually, and you know what? In another analogy of that, rather than it being a juice that shoots the airways, it's actually an alien that presents itself to me. Maybe the alien is a juice. But, yeah, this alien, he always has a name, or it always has a name, which is a combination of all the albums that we're listening to on the show this week. I always find it quite funny. It's a joke that I find hilarious, which is important when you're sitting in the studio on your own at 1:18 a.m. It's good to be able to make yourself laugh, and maybe it makes you laugh out there as well. So here's the alien's name this week. It's a beautiful, eloquent name. Take it away, alien.
Spirits After Dead are watching Turning Her Back into Dolphin Jetting Kill Led McKellen Jelly and Kaleidoscope Vision Speak Words.
It's so beautiful. Just think of that alien's parents. God. But yeah, if you can hear, let's listen to it again. Listen here if you can hear Getting Killed in there.
Spirits After Dead are watching Turning Her Back into Dolphin Jetting Kill Led McKellen Jelly and Kaleidoscope Vision Speak Words.
I think I actually played the yeah, I don't know. I think I can't hear it. Maybe you can hear it. I was trying to listen for it then. Anyway, Getting Killed. The new album from Geese. I think I gave it a really good build up and then just lost momentum. Let's just jump into it. This is Geese.
your time.
You don't have to waste your time hiking up 100 hills. You don't have to, but I will. Well, it was your hair clean when your husband's all died. Well, you know what I mean. Well, you know what I mean. There's a horse on my back, and I may be stomped flat, but my loneliness is gone. Oh, my loneliness is gone. There's a horse on my back, gives me all that I need. Well, it was your hair clean when your husband's all died. Well, you know what I mean. Well, you know what I mean. And if my loneliness should stay, well, some are holiest that way. Well, that was your hair clean when your husband's all died. Well, you know what I mean. 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 Well, you know what I mean.
No, no, we're not listening to any more. I'm sorry. We had listened to the first millisecond of the fourth song there off the new album from Geese Getting Killed, and I will admit I would love to listen to more because I was really loving to listen to that album. My name's Angus. You listen to First Contact. Yes, and that was the fresh release from the New York band Geese. They're young kids. They're still 23. They've got a long career ahead of them, and it is looking like it's going to be a very illustrious career. From the sound of that record, it's as I was rambling about before I played that album.